Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to this, today's panel discussion on a 30-hour work week. Okay, I just want to begin with something a little uncomfortable. Okay, in accounting, long hours are so normalized that we rarely question that how do we stop them. Okay, we plan around them, we build teams around them. Sometimes we even build our lives around workaholic week, and sometimes along the way we start treating this as a commitment, maybe as an ambition, or maybe as a cost of success. So when someone says 30-hour work week, the first reaction often is, oh, that sounds idealistic, but may not be unrealistic, right? But this conversation
Mhm.
is not really about chasing a number. It's about asking a deeper question: what you really want from your life, and how do you want to design your firm that will integrate with your life, that you can meet your aspirations. So, are long hours truly inevitable in accounting, or have we simply designed the firm in a way that feels or makes inevitable? So, maybe this is just not a time problem, maybe it's a design problem.
Yes.
And I guess today we are going to explore more on this. We have a lovely panel out here. But before we go further, I'm curious where everyone stands here. So, how realistic do you think a 30-hour work week is in accounting? You can continue to cast your polls, and I'll announce the results in a bit. So, I'm just launching a poll here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the poll says completely unrealistic 8%. Okay, possible but very difficult is about 23%. Realistic with right design, that is 62%. See, already we have.
All right. All
Already
right.
working this way is 8%. So, with the highest
Good.
is 62%, but still, there are others which we can address. So, let me first introduce you to today's panelists. So, uh, I welcome Randy Crabtree. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be
And
here.
Randy is the co-founder and partner at Tri-Merit Specialty Tax Professionals. He's one of the most recognized voices in the accounting profession today. As an author, as a speaker, and a host of the Unique CPA, and of course, Bridging the Gap conference. Um, he has a bi-weekly podcast that ranks amongst the top 5 most popular shows globally in accounting. Through that platform, he consistently pushed conversations beyond just technical topics into areas like leadership, firm culture, and most importantly, personal well-being. A very broad profession together to talk about things that weren't always openly discussed, right? So, and when I go to the Bridging the Gap, the first thing comes to my mind is he talks about mental health, burnout, and the fatigue at the accounting firms. And his contribution haven't gone unnoticed. He was named as one of the Accounting Today's top 100 most influential people in accounting. So I'm really looking forward to getting this conversation with him. Randy, great to have you here.
Well, thank you. And that was way too long of an intro. We got things to talk about.
I don't know, Randy. You're kind of a big deal, but
Yeah, he's a big
whatever.
deal.
Yes.
Okay, now let me welcome Debra Kilsheimer. Debra, welcome to the show. He's the owner of Behind the Scenes Financial Service, where she has built modern accounting and an advisory practice focused on helping businesses move beyond compliances and more into strategic financial clarity. Deborah is just not a firm owner. She is someone who has consistently been recognized within accounting community for her expertise and contributions. She is an advanced QuickBooks Pro advisor, a regular speaker at the industry events, and been named as a top 100 pro advisors. Deborah has been a very real operator level view of what it actually takes to move away from long hours model and build something that works better for the firm and the people in it. So, Deborah, we welcome you, and I'm sure we'll have a great conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that
You
was
can skip.
the
You just
deal
go.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, we all love Deb. You can just go. This is Sharrin, and we don't
I
have to
mean,
say anything.
Sharrin, it looks like I'm talking too much. Maybe you want to give your intro straight?
No. I mean, I'm Sharrin Fuller. Google me.
So Sharrin is the founder and CEO of Glass Wallet Ventures, and someone who has built her reputation around helping accounting firm owners transition from being overwhelmed operators to confident CEOs. Sharrin's journey in the profession is anything but traditional. She started her first bookkeeping firm back then in 2006 without a formal accounting background and went it to scale it into a multi-million-dollar business before successfully exiting in 2020. So she has done the full cycle through her scalable to sellable systems, where she works closely with firm owners to redesign their operations, build stronger teams, and create businesses that are just not scalable but actually valuable and exit ready. She's also the host of podcast, Stuck to Scaling, where she dives into the real and often messy subjects side of growing of a firm, from operational bottlenecks to leadership challenges. So, Sharrin, welcome here. And
Thank you. Did you guys write that, or was that my team? Because I feel like there's some new stuff there. I feel like your team generated that. Because I'm feeling kind of good right now.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
we do little research about you before you are brought in here.
Good job.
All right, so let's get started, folks. So, Randy, the first question to you, you have spoken openly about the burnout and your stroke 11 years ago, right? Looking back, was that a workload problem or a firm design problem? If you could redesign your firm before that point, what would really change?
Great question. And it's honestly, I'm going to say it's both, but it's also a mindset problem. I think a lot of this is just the mindset that we have. And so for me, it was a mindset thing. I started this and I've started multiple businesses. I'm like Sharrin, I've started multiple businesses. I started multiple businesses. I started this business. We were 7 years into it. And this is used to be my mindset, not anymore. It was, okay, I started this. I'm responsible for everything. I have to do everything. Everything's on my shoulders. And that's the mindset I had when we first started this business. And so that was really what, I can't directly say that what caused my stroke, the stress I put on myself, the trying to be perfect, trying to show no weakness, all that kind of stuff. I can't say that necessarily caused it, but I'm sure it had an impact on it. And so really it was, if you look at it that way, it would be lean more into a design problem. I designed my role as leader the wrong way. And so I guess if I we got, those intros took forever. I guess I can't take too long to answer this question. The bottom line is, I would say it was a design problem that I self-induced. And if I change things, and one of the biggest things I changed after that stroke is I reevaluated everything that I was doing. And I looked at what I was passionate about and what I was good at, what I loved doing, what lit me up, what really just energized me, and decided those are the areas I need to spend my time. And then from there, from a leadership standpoint, that's what I tried to install with everybody is, hey, there's parts of this organization you love, there's things you love doing, there's things you're really good at. Let's try to align everybody with those. So just designing the firm that way, it was subtle at first, but it's more intentional now. That can have a huge impact on mindset in general of, a 30-hour work week is great. A 40-hour work week can feel like a 20-hour work week when you are in that, what I call living at the intersection of your passions and your skills. So that's what I would say. My mindset caused a design problem, and we've since fixed it. And when I go back and do it from the beginning, probably, but I love learning from experiences, and that experience has had such a big impact on me that I don't know if I'd be where I am today without going through that.
Yeah. And, for the firm owners who are starting, do you think that the design, that's what they will think when they are starting the firm? Because, when you just start, you just get clients and you go all over, right? So when is the right time to think about this design?
Before you begin.
The right time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully you're watching this and listening.
I mean, we tell every other business owner to define your customer, know what you want to do. We tell them to do that, but we don't do it for ourselves.
No. Right? We advise day in, day out.
Come on
tell
in,
people,
every client, I'm going to take them all. You know, whenever you want to work. I mean, we're like the people that pick up the drunk at the bar. Why should they change their behavior? Because we put up with it.
Right.
Oh my God, we are the Ubers of our profession.
Yeah. Oh, you need to be picked up at 2 o'clock? Sure, I'm coming.
Pre-schedule me. I'll be there. I don't need sleep.
So Sharrin, the next question to you is, can a firm that depends on long hours can truly scale well, or does that model eventually will hit the wall?
It's a wall. I mean, look at the big four, okay, right? I didn't thank God this was not my journey, but I think of all the people that get out of college like, I want to intern for a big four. They run them into the ground. So those people are from the very, 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 very beginning out of college thinking, this is my profession. This is what is going to be normal the rest of my life. This crazy 89, this is what I've signed up for. So they do one of two things. They adapt and they accept it and they try to be higher so they can tell little interns what to do. Or they leave altogether and they start something else. I can't tell you how many people that got into accounting, they're like, it wasn't for me. And I said, well, what'd you do? Well, I went to EY. Well, there's your number one problem. Let's figure this out. So absolutely, none of us can. We all have the same amount of hours in our day. None of us get more than 24 hours. I don't care who you are. And when 15 of them are spent working, with no end in sight, you barely get to sleep. No, you cannot grow a firm. You're just digging a bigger hole. Your team's digging a hole. You're just always reactive and you're never proactive, and you will not be successful. You will burn out. You'll end up hating it unless you're a weirdo and that's what you like. And if that's the case, have at it. I mean, who am I to tell you what to do?
But most people realize only this after the spending few hours or maybe a decade in the profession, right? How do you make them aware
especially
in
those
the beginning?
Ones. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah. So how do you make them
what was that?
So I said that most of the times, people realize only after spending a couple of years or maybe decades, in the profession. So, what's your advice to the people who are just jumping into the profession very fresh?
I think we need to start getting to these kids younger in college. I think that they need to start hearing from us and not just some of these. When people go into accounting, they really do think, I'm going to work for one of the big ones. I don't know very many people that go into college that don't end up taking that route, right? That's their route. People that have more of an entrepreneur skill set, okay, except for Randy. We all know Randy's amazing. But very few, but a lot of them that are like, that's what they did. They got out and they had to go intern somewhere big because that's how they make their name. And during college, I don't know. I didn't go to college. I do not have a college degree of any sort. I am a licensed manicurist in 3 states, however. When you go, you hear a lot from these big firms that are trying to recruit. Where are the people like us three going in going, hold on. There's a whole other path. And that's one path, but let us give you 4 more. And we really got to start at the beginning. And I honestly think even in high school, as people are trying to decide what to do, if we could start our youth young and let them understand that what they're being spoon-fed is what certain industries are, really isn't that. Nobody told me that in high school. You're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a psychologist, a veterinarian, a mom, right? Those are my jobs, but nobody said, hey, you can start your own accounting firm and you can do it without going to college, right? Nobody said that. It was something I had to learn on my own. So honestly, educating our youth, education, conversation, communication.
Yep. So Debra, you have many decades of experience. So, do you think this traditional model is any longer sustainable? And
Well,
how
it's going to
did
be
that
sustainable
change?
as long as we put up with it. But I remember when I got my CPA back when I was 25 years old, I looked around, I thought, I do not want to do this. I mean, it was 3 o'clock, April 16th on a Friday, 1982. Pressure was off. And I said to the partner, could we go home? we're tired. We're exhausted. He goes, no, I pay you to sit there.
Wow.
I thought, I can't do this. I cannot do this for the next 50 years. So I walked in 2 weeks later and gave my notice. I thought, I'm not doing this. It's no fun. I hate keeping 6-minute increments. I'm always looking behind me. And if I ran an accounting firm, this is how I do it. And fast forward 20 years, and I met my husband, Hal, who ran a tax and accounting firm.
In a towel.
Hal in a towel. And we started dating, and I lost my job at a big law firm. And he goes, well, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, well, you're a CPA. Why don't you work with me? I said, only if I can run an accounting firm how I think it should be run. And forward thinking, flat rates, all the technology, premium prices. I'm in charge. Clients do what I say. This is the one profession where I don't think the customer is always right. I think we're right. If a client comes to you and says, well, I don't want to pay payroll tax, we don't go, oh, I guess customer's right. You don't have to. No.
Sorry, IRS.
Yeah. And this is how I run it. So I thought, this is how I want to run my firm. I'm going to pick the people I want to work with, work when I want to work. I wanted to use all the latest and greatest technologies out there. Because it's just like when you get on an airplane, they tell you to put your own mask on first before you can help anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think, why would anybody want to be like Randy and Sharrin said, go into accounting when all they see is how hard we work and and I do think we wear it as a badge of honor. It's almost like, well,
we
worked 60 hours this week. Well, I worked 75. So there. Well, I'm thinking you're both dumb.
Yeah.
I worked half that and probably made twice the money.
Right.
So you have to design, you have to first decide what you want to do. I only want to work 30 hours. You have to decide. Yep. Then you design the customer that you want to deal with, the technology stack you're going to use, what you will put up with and what you won't put up with. And the fact that it's tax season, my husband, he's the tax guy. And he likes to go, oh, look how hard I work. I go, sorry, buddy, it's on you, bud. You're putting up with this stuff, not me. And he goes, well, I'm going to lose clients. No, you don't. They keep coming. But you have to decide. You're in charge and they will follow your rules. You are the leader. People follow leaders. And if we want to bring up the people behind us, the young people, we lead by example. If you start leading by example and showing them what's possible with this profession, we'll get more people that want to take advantage of it. Because to me, I love what I do. I love it. And I make a difference in people's lives, and I still have my own life. I get to do what I want to do. By the way, I know Randy has a podcast and Sharrin has a podcast, and I do too. It's called Bookkeepers on Fire.
You do too. Yeah.
With Donna Reed. But you get to design how you want to live your life. It's no one's fault but yours if you're not living the kind of life you want to have, and you can change it.
But everybody knows that these many hours is not sustainable. But what is stopping them from this change?
They're afraid.
Mindset.
Well, they think if they make this change, people won't like them. They're going to lose clients. What will people think? All of this outside fear. Well, just get that out of your head.
Yeah.
Decide. You get to decide, and by you deciding, you get to be the leader of your own life. Figure out what's breaking. A lot of times during the day, we say at the end of the day, where'd the time go? Well, figure out where it went. Oh, gee, I spent 2 hours playing my pop the bubble game on my phone. Well, let's delete the app. Figure out where your time went, because everybody, like Sharrin said, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in the week. And you got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to play, and you got to work. And you have to do it in equal amounts. Because I don't think it's really kind of cool if you don't see your kids during tax season or your husband, or you ate cold dinner at night. That's on you. You can fix it. And if a client doesn't like it, let them go somewhere else.
Yeah, send them to Intuit. They'll take them.
Yeah, really.
Sorry.
So Sharrin, you keep coaching people on the creating an exitable model, and you have also exited the firm. So what's your perspective on how does this change happen? When when a completely owner driven mindset, putting like 60 hours, 70 hours a week to kind of working through people?
It's an addict. It's an addict mindset, right? So when you get into that, you are addicted to your job. You know nothing else. It's what you do in and day out, and you don't know how to change. And if you change, then what? You're afraid of the change. You have to hit rock bottom. That's honestly, you have to hit rock bottom. Something has to hit you in your life that has impacted you to a point that you're like, oh my God, this does not work. And whether it's somebody like me aggressively telling you to your face that you're wrong, whether it's for me, because I sold my first firm, I started another one. I thought I was doing all the right things. And I realized as I'm teaching people how to do it the right way, I'm not. I'm running my new firm the exact same way I did it before. And then you know what happened? My mom, out of the blue, got sick, got pneumonia, went on life support, and then I had to unplug her, right? We all kind of make that joke, but I did. I had to take my mom off life support, and I deal with trauma with humor. So sorry to anybody that's like, oh my God. But that significantly changed my life. And I sat back and I went, okay, what am I doing? I'm doing this again. While I was sitting with my mom this whole time, I'm realizing my company is like kind of going down the drain. It shouldn't be. They need me, right? So I'm the dependency trap. I'm this thing. But it took something like that again to make me go, Sharrin, what the hell are you doing? You are not practicing what you preach. So I got right back into it and fixed it and stopped it and changed it and then just sold it again. I mean, I rescaled it back up, and we had 80 plus clients with 2 full-time employees, sold it for over 7 figures. And the company is still running right now with those same 2 employees, and they are growing, and it can probably grow another 30 more clients with those same 2 employees, but it was how I did it. But honestly, addict mindset, we have to have something that's like, you have to hit the rock bottom.
And now you openly say, I see that, that I work only 2 days or 3 days a week, right? That's what your email says.
3. I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. People are like, hop on Friday. I'm like, no. I will be on my couch playing that bubble game because my brain loves that stuff. But I'm not working. I don't want to. I miss too much time with my mom working. And I could have, those are days you don't get back, right? We don't get those back. Nobody's tax return, nobody's accounting is more important than anything in my life.
And Randy,
sorry, I got all trauma.
So coming to you, Randy, you talk a lot about, about your stroke and, how it has changed life. So are you still kind of surprised by the burnout is a real problem in the firm, and how the firm owners or maybe your friends or in the community people are looking at this burnout today?
Yeah. So am I surprised by it? I'm not, unfortunately, because it's like Sharrin just said, a mindset issue. It's a comfort level that we have. Hey, let's keep doing it this way. We've always done it that way. People fear change. And so burnout to me, it's a factor of not being willing to change. And that kind of goes to what Sharrin just says. You're not going to change till you hit rock bottom. My goal is to get people to change before they hit rock bottom, to understand that there is a better way to do this. There is a different way to do this. But burnout, where's burnout come in the most? Probably, busy season for, tax accountants, that's tax season, depending. So let's just talk about that. Should that be a surprise to anybody? No. We know what's going to happen. We know what we have to do. Is there a way to change the busyness of tax season? There's plenty of ways to change it. There's 1,000 ways to change it, but we don't. Change is so scary to us that we just continue down the same path. And that's what happens. Our minds are, whether this goes back to, a million years or something, but our minds are just, programmed to fear the unexpected, and change is something unexpected. We don't know what's going to happen. And so we look at change as we see that short-term pain that is so intense, because we look at change as pain. We ignore the long-term gain. I'm going to have a better life. I'm going to work 30 hours a week or less. I'm going to serve the clients I want. I'm going to integrate this new technology that's going to make a difference, that's going to save me 500 hours a year. But we don't see that. We see the, oh, wow, I got 10 hours that I have to do this thing to make a change, but I've got all these clients to work on. So it shouldn't be a surprise. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised the burnout is still part of the profession. Is burnout avoidable? 1,000% it's avoidable. And we just need to start doing the things that's going to make a huge difference. And we have to, as Sharrin said, or Deb said, I think they both said, we just need to start talking to people younger. We need to let them know that just because, your partner is 60 years old and retiring in 5 years and they don't want to do any change because they're afraid of it, doesn't mean we can't. And so get in new mindset early on in this profession that is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, as we keep talking, everybody knows about this, so let's move from, burnout diagnosis to now a design, right? So if someone wants to build a firm today, what steps they should take really to design a firm in a way, and Sharrin, you keep talking about scalable to sellable, right? So how important it is is that business does not depend on the owner working 60 hours a week, so how do one design their own firm, initially?
So in the accounting industry, what you typically find is somebody started their own firm because a client came to them or they were able to get a client, and then they just start hitting the ground running, right? So they're not thinking about it. Most of the people aren't really thinking, or they're like, I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Well, by that time, they've got 3, 4, 5, 6 clients, and they don't have time to go back. What they really need to do is stop from the beginning and realize this is a business. And in any business, you need to define it from the beginning. And if you don't define it from the beginning, you're going to have to define it at some point. And the more clients you have and the deeper you are, the harder it's going to be. How do you undo or recreate systems when you don't have any? So unless you've got a lot of money behind you, usually start as a solopreneur. So you're not documenting anything. Everything's in your head. You don't have help. So you're doing what you do. Well, what happens when it comes to a point you're like, now I need help? Nothing, you go to hire somebody, and how do you give them the information that's in your head? So we really need to remind people that they have got to start doing it now. If they don't have it now, it's not too late. Start now. Start writing things down, because that's how you end up not becoming the dependency trap, which I'm coining that term. It's not bottleneck. You are the dependency trap. If everything in your firm depends upon you, you're trapping it and nobody's going to grow. You are setting up your team for failure. You're setting up yourself for failure. So you really need to you have to take a step back and think, what do I teach my clients? What do I tell my clients to do? How are my clients feeling? I need to do that for myself. We'd have to practice what we preach. I feel like I have taken this 360 or this 180 because I can't even remember what the original question was, but this train just started going straight down those tracks and off to a new one. So yes, if you want to build a scalable, sellable firm, you have to have it documented. You need to be as little involved as possible. Like nothing can depend on you, because when people buy your firm, say you're going to have your firm bought, they're not buying you. They're not buying your team. They can't. People aren't for sale. There's a whole, that's in the Constitution. People are not for sale. They buy your processes. They buy your clients. Your outsourcing can go with it, right? But the more technology, the more automation, the more you have that are not dependent upon a person, the more valuable your firm is. And the more somebody, if they step away or need to be replaced, it's okay, because they can come back in and jump in where that person left off, because it's documented and the technology's there and the systems are in place. I think I answered, but I really feel like I took that one to a whole other planet.
And do you think, Sharrin, because you don't come from a accounting background, it was easier for you to do this as compared to accountants?
No, are you kidding? I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, see a need, fill a need, right? I had clients I had people that were like, I started as office management and bookkeeping. And I was just helping people write their checks and clean things up and balance their checkbooks. And then I thought, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm going to do this more. And then I started working with tax accountants and, tax attorneys anyhow, I started working with higher level people. And I thought, wow, I really, really enjoy this. So I ended up moving into more fractional controller, fractional CFO work. I don't know how you go from, office manager, bookkeeper to fractional CFO, but I did, but I really enjoyed it. And it was a process, but when I started this, I just thought, oh, I'll just go to people's office and organize it. No big deal.
In the last 6 months, I would have met with, a couple of these, non-accounting people who have started an accounting firm. Okay, maybe a techie, maybe a investment bankers, or started created some funds and stuff like that. So it is very interesting because they design the way, because they are not an accountant, right? So they design the business the way they want to kind of scale it. So be it technology, be it offshoring, be it all traits of modern firms you could see from day one, and it's pretty exciting that way.
It is. It is. The only thing I worry about with some of these people coming in is the lack of. I still feel like there has to be some sort of connection to your client.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of overseeing. And I feel like a lot of these equity, this is a whole other podcast topic or webinar topic, but I feel like a lot of these equity firms come in and destroy the ones we build. I mean, we can build our firms so super efficient, but there's still a matter of human touch. Like my firm uses outsourced accounting, no big deal, but there's always somebody there to manage the relationship. Otherwise, there's no point for our clients to have us.
Yeah.
They can go to Claude. So anyhow, again, that's a whole other thing. But yes, absolutely. Everything you can automate the hell out of your firm, to be honest.
So Debra, coming to you, you spoke about that sometimes, a 30-hour work week may not go good with your clients or maybe your internal teams. Do you have any experience to share around this? How did you make this possible?
I came up with, when I worked at a CPA firm, I saw everything that I didn't want to do. And then I started working with Hal and I saw everything he was done. I said, this is just the same old crapola that I put up at the CPA firm. So I said, if I did it, this is how I would do it. So like for tax season, and now with AI, I think as accountants, we're selling the wrong things, by the way. We're talking about transactions and technology. The clients aren't buying that.
Yeah.
They're buying the outcome that you produce for them. Yeah. So stop talking to clients about how many bank accounts, transaction counts, and all that. What is the outcome you have? What's the relationship you can have with these clients that makes it work? Because the technology and AI take away all of the drudgery work now. I mean, I remember before I had like this, last month or something, I had a client that her sales tax was off. And it used to take me half a day to go through the thing, which invoice was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, I threw up the report into Claude and said, tell me which invoices had sales tax calculated wrong. Oh, these 4 took like 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. So I said, write an executive paper to show her where it was, the mistake, how to fix it. It did. And of course, I didn't give it to her within 30 minutes. I waited a day, so she think I worked really hard at it. And then... I thought, wow, I mean, this used to take me hours to do. Now Claude does it like that. So what is that they're buying? She was buying the relationship she had with me to fix her problem and how to solve it in the future. So I don't think we have to stop thinking about hours and technology. Is that what clients want? They do not. If you're getting the question, why do I need you if I can have Claude do it all?
Yeah.
You're teaching them the wrong things.
Yep.
It's kind of like, well, what do I need a doctor for? I can look it up on WebMD. I don't want to have a doctor. I don't want WebMD tell me I have cancer. I want a doctor to tell me that.
Yeah.
And it will.
The doctor. So I thought so we're building relationships with these people. Do you know their goals? Do you know what they want? Do you know what it is they want to achieve? Their accounting and the transactions that they're doing are creating the wealth that they need to build the lifestyle they want. Do you know the answer to that question? Most of us don't, because we think about the wrong things. We say, well, let's have a meeting to talk about your P&L and your balance sheet. Client goes, okay, if I have to. But you talked about you wanted to have annual passes to Disney and go to the parks once a month. That's not going to happen with what I'm seeing now in your books. Let's make some tweaks to make that happen. Oh, what do I have to do? Well, you have to raise your prices. You do this. Let's talk about that. Do you think that they'll pay you more money to do that, by the way? Do you think they care how long it took you to come up with that? Do you think you even need to figure it out yourself when you can throw it up into Claude and ask the question and it'll come back with the answer? What are they paying for? They're paying for your expertise, your leadership, and all of that. So you have to design it like that and then come up with the processes that make it happen. Like with taxes, for example. You know, it's not like they woke up yesterday and think, oh my gosh, here it's April 9th and I got to pay taxes by the 15th. I mean, they've known they had to file taxes since they were born. And just now they're waking up, they have to do it. So we send out a letter in November and December. And what I do is I look at their last year's tax return. I see all of the stuff that they had. I do not send out organizer packets, by the way. I hate them because I don't want to fill one out myself. And I say, here's what you need to come with us. Here's links to click on a calendar date. You know, and I have all of my instructions of what I require and what I want for them to do. You know, and then if you don't make an appointment until you have all your documents, if you come in without your documents, you will be delayed and you'll automatically go an extension. The closer you get to April 15th, the higher the price. Oh,
yeah,
how come?
I do
you know
that
what?
too.
FedEx charges for
did.
next day delivery. You know, so you come up with it. Now, the other thing we do in that letter, if anything new's coming up, like right now they had that big ugly bill that just passed. You know, here's all the new stuff that's coming out. This is how it will impact you, because I can look at a tax return now, throw it up into Claude and say, tell me what I need to talk to them about this year. This goes out in November, December, where they plan the stuff. I tell them what happens if they miss an appointment. You know, every appointment takes 2 hours. Hal does not want to work weekends or nights or Fridays. Well, so he works 4 days and they claim the time. And I said, if you miss it, if you cancel, you're charged a cancellation fee. If you're a no-show, forget it. And then we have a wait list. You know, I can't get an appointment. Can I get in? I said, let me put you on the wait list. If anybody cancels the last minute, I'll give you a call. You have to come right over, make sure all your documents are there. We're in charge of the time, but we planned it like that. It wasn't like, oh, everybody that wants to come over, oh, come on over, blah, blah, blah. I had a client it was Christmas week. She calls me, she emails me Christmas week. I need to have a meeting with you right now to go over if I have to make any additional payroll tax deductions so I don't have to worry. You know, she deducted her federal tax from her payroll. I was away. I saw her email. I thought, you know what, if I respond to this and help her out during Christmas week, that when I was away, I'm teaching her that it's okay to email me at the last minute. Now, if I had gone and rescued her, I would have felt like a Wonder Woman with my cape on and my bracelets. Oh, look what a hero I am. I thought, nope, I'm training her that it's okay to call me at the last minute and I'm going to jump. So I didn't respond. So after the holidays, it was January, I said, I saw your email. I was away. You need to call me sooner with issues like this. Oh, I guess I missed the deadline. You did. You know, I'll call you sooner next. Yes. Now, because I know that of her, next year I'll know, I'll put in my notes to call her in November. Do you want to have a meeting to go over this stuff early? Because I'm not doing it when I'm away. Do you see what I mean? But I was not going to teach her that it's okay for me to come in and rescue you. You know, you live with the consequences, clients. If you're late, you don't have the stuff, it's on you. I know Hal, he gets off, oh, they're going to be late. That's on them, not me. I told them what they had to do. If they didn't do it, it's on them. It's like going to the doctor. Doc, I'm going to have a heart attack. Stop eating bacon. But I really like bacon. I'm going to keep eating it. Okay, you're going to have a heart attack then. Is it the doctor's fault you kept eating bacon? No, it's on you. So why do we do that with clients? Because we want to save them. We want to rescue them. We want to be nice. Makes us feel like heroes. I don't want to be a hero.
Yep.
I want to be a hero to my family. I want to have dinner with Hal. I want to spend time with my grandkids. I want to doing my podcast with Donna. I want to have my life. I want to go to Pilates every day. I mean, I want to live a life I want to live. And you can too. That's the good news, but you plan it. Did I answer your question? I go
Great.
off and take
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. And
I think you did.
Difficult to, you know, kind of resist that gratification to answer the email, but if you are able to do it,
don't answer. You don't have to answer.
Then,
now,
you know,
I will tell you
I
too.
love the point which you said that, you know, you wrote in the notes and then you followed up next November. Can you come maybe 2-3 weeks earlier so we can discuss. That was a brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, they teach you how you train people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this is important to her. So next year I'll know to call her. It's in my notes. I use Keeper. So, or Double now.
Double.
I know to call her then to make sure it happens. So they tell you what they want, but I'm now, to me, there's no such thing as an accounting emergency. So they'll call me up. Oh, I need help. Oh, I go, okay, is the IRS at your door with guns? No. Okay, then it's not that bad. It's only money. No one died. We can fix it. So take a breath. Let's get to it on Monday morning. By the way, everybody has my cell phone number. Yeah, they have your cell phone number? Yeah. I said, if they call me at 8:00 on a Friday night, you don't have to answer it.
I send them all to a different number. I use a VoIP line to where I know if they're the number I give everybody is my work number.
That's too much stuff for me to remember. I don't want to remember. I'm getting old. Remember, Sharon, I'm going to be 70. I mean,
but I know that I'm at a hockey game. I'm not going to answer this number, right? I don't want to anyhow.
But then again, you decided that. That was something you decided.
Yeah, exactly.
But you decided you're in charge of your life. So if you're unhappy with how you live in your life or how you're running your firm, change it. Find the people that are doing what you want to do and ask them. One of the best things about this accounting community is how giving we are and how we're willing to share. The community that we have is so fabulous. You could ask any of us, how do you run your firm? Can you help? Yeah, I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Right, Randy?
For free. We'll sit down with people on a phone call and be like, let me just help you really quick, which is again.
I mean, we love helping each other.
Each other, yes.
But I love this. I love how giving and wonderful the people in the accounting community are. So find your people. Find someone that you can, talk to. And I have a question. I'm not sure. Find a group. I know, Sharon, you have a group. Randy, you have a great conference. So find your people, and then test it out. If you join a group, this is for me, find another one. I mean, we're out here to help. Go to conferences. My best friend I've met at conferences. Sharon, I met at conferences. Randy, I met at conferences. Donna, who I do the podcast, Smith, I met at conferences. I have no local friends. They're all conference friends from accounting.
And I have met everybody at the conference only, right?
Yeah, you did.
When there's no conferences, I'm like, what do I do? Like, conference season started 2 weeks ago for me. I'm like, I get to see all my friends. And I was told once, these aren't your friends. I'm like, but they are.
But they are.
They're my accounting
it's like
friends,
I go to
people
go,
excited.
what do you like about a conference? I get to see my friends. It's like I go on vacation with my friends.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I went out to dinner, last night with 4 other people, all met at conferences, and we had such a great time. Yep.
We can all nerd out about the same thing. That's why my husband, I brought him to a conference once. He goes, I'm not doing that again. I have nothing in common with you weirdos. I'm like, I know, huh? Stay home.
I have a better time.
I don't want you there. You're gonna sit in the back and be like, what the hell's a Google spreadsheet? And we're like, let me tell you about, anyhow. Nope, absolutely.
I know we get excited. I mean, it's the only people you hang out with that get excited about a bank rec. Did you try that new bank rec thing? Have you seen that? Have you seen this formula I figured out? I mean,
I know. So I wrote this zap, you guys. It's so ridiculous, but it's what we have in common, right? It's what we bond with and we have in common and we love. And I do love that we can all sit down and like Deb's saying, how Deb runs her business is not how I might run my business. But like Deb says, that is what works for her and her clients. And she still has her life, right? We will all run a business completely different ways. There's how many ways to skin a cat, and it's really what works for you and the fact that we're happy and we're doing what we want to do. And that's honestly what it comes down to, right? Is can I step away without can I step away for a week and unplug and enjoy time with my family without coming back and having everything burnt down? If you can do that, what you're doing is probably correct. If you can't, you've got a problem that needs to be fixed, right?
Yeah, and analyze it and say, I'm unhappy doing this. There was a question in the chat about spring break. How do you go to spring break? You plan it. You take a week off to go to spring break. I mean, you plan it, so you don't schedule clients, they all know they have to get a tax return done by April 15th. So you might have to work an extra week before you go, a little harder, because you can take the week off.
Yeah.
But that's your choice. The clients are not in charge of you. So if you want to take a week off for spring break, you plan it. Now, spring break's coming. When spring break for next year is going to be here. So plan it. I'm not going to be in the office those days. And then don't be in the office.
And that comes
shut your calendar off
for you.
Yep, that comes with time management too, because we are so reactive often that our time we could do so much in less time by just plugging out 4 hours a day that nobody can get a hold of me. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at emails. I'm not going to look at Pop the Bubble game. I'm not going to whatever it is. And so when you do that, when you start planning, when you be intentional about how important your time is because you want to do the vacation, it happens. If you just be intentional about it, you will make it happen, and you will be so happy about that spring break trip you just took.
Yeah. But you plan, like Randy said, you plan what's important to you. It's important to me every day to go to my Pilates class. It's important to me to read every day. It's important for me to knit every day. That relaxes me. Now, I also have to get my work done. So I work, 2 hours a day. Big deal. I work like 2-3 hours a day. So, but 7 days a week. So it's still 20 hours. But I like getting up in the morning because I wake up at like 3 in the morning and get it all done. So if you ever get an email from me, you emailed me at 3 a.m. Yeah, I just woke up.
Oh my goodness, that'd be midnight my time. I'm just falling asleep.
I'm a morning girl.
So
but I plan it.
This was questioned by Dave. So Dave, I hope the panelists have answered. Let us know if you have any concurrent questions. So Randy, you talked about this breaks and stuff like that. To tell me, if somebody is designing a 30-hour firm, what should be those top 3 or 4 non-negotiables that they should follow?
Yeah, actually, Deb just said a lot of them. I mean, one is boundaries, setting boundaries with your clients, communication boundaries, time boundaries, scope boundaries. That's huge. And I'll go through this quick because Deb did a great job on this. Deb, her thought process on hours and billable hours rather than billing based on the value, that thing that she just talked about, she did in 10 minutes, but the value to the client's the same. That's a non-negotiable. You have to do it that way. For me, if you're looking to do this, the more joy you get out of the clients you're working with, the better. So if you have a client list and you go through that list and you cringe when you get to a name, that's not a client you should be working with anymore. Exactly.
Yep.
If you smile when you get to a name, that's the client you should be working with. And if you keep smiling at a client that's in the same industry, well, there's a niche there that you should concentrate. Especially when we start our firms, we don't think about any of that. And I understand that. And I did the same thing because I want revenue. But there's a point in time where the client's more important than the revenue because there's plenty of clients out there that revenue will be replaced. So when you replace clients, replace them with the ones that make you smile. And often that is a niche. Often hey, I love working with construction clients, or I love working with franchises or whatever. Try to figure that out. And when you do that, that just right there makes efficiencies because you don't have to research everything you're doing every single time you talk to a client because you've done it with all these clients and you enjoy those clients. So that's a one. Sharrin talked about processes. I am not a process person. I'm terrible, but you find someone else that loves processes and you work with them on that and get those set up. That's and here's the big one. If you have a firm and you're a leader, you protect other people's time. You have to start to set that. And one of the ways you do that too is and there's a lot of AI fatigue and technology fatigue right now, but you have to analyze these and you have to find this technology that's going to remove work from you, remove time from you, not add complexity. And that's where we get afraid of. Most of them, do your analysis. This should be an ongoing thing. Analyze everything new coming out. And is this going to be a time saver for me? Is this going to be a benefit for me? To me, that's a non-negotiable too. And as Deb said, Claude right now, everybody's raving about that. In fact,
Claude got good.
Yeah.
Claude's my new boyfriend.
Yeah.
I know.
So things like that. That's just a quick list, but I know we're running out of time. So those are non-negotiables. You have to do those things, because if you don't, you're going to get in this trap that you can't get out of, because I've always done this way, so I'm going to keep doing this way. So start fresh with those right non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And Sharrin, from the business model standpoint, when you are designing this 30-hour firm or lesser, what is difference in terms of pricing or client mix or service structure, scope, how do they go about that?
Again, when you're first starting, you kind of don't know what you want to do. Maybe you do. If you do, you're lucky. I changed many times, but the minute you do figure out, it's kind of like and then you can start developing your firm around that. And sometimes it is good in the beginning to take on a bunch of stuff everywhere, right? To figure out, it's like dating. What do I like? What am I into? Okay, cool. Here it is, right? And then when you do that, then you're able to actually go, okay, like Randy said, I am now an expert in this field. I now know everything, and now I can make it efficient. Now I know what the pricing is. I know this software that all my clients are going to use takes me X amount of time to set up. I can get way faster, but this is what it should charge. You can really start honing in on what your pricing is, on how long things take, on what can be automated. So the more niche you are, I say niche, guys, I always have, the more niche you are, the more efficient you can be, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be niche, but it does help, and it does make you far more efficient. It does allow you to automate more and to really and to just be that expert in your field. Like Deb was saying, people are paying you because they trust you. They're paying you for the trust. They're paying you because when they know the things that come out of your mouth, they know it as scripture. It is what they're saying, and I trust them. I may have dumped it into Google, but I'm going to go ask Sharrin because I trust her more, and I don't know about Google. And honestly, that's what you're really trying to build. That's the end game: is efficient, work less, work smarter, not harder, and make sure I'm valuable to my clients, any of them, regardless of what your client is. Which now for me as accounting firm owners, which is really crazy, because accounting firm owners, as we're talking about here, are a whole level of nuts. But again, I'm an expert in that field because I am one of those nuts. So I know exactly what I'm dealing with, and I know how to deal with them. Whereas if I went to like lawyers, that's a whole different level of crazy that I don't know that I wanted to deal with, right? But I know accounting firm owners.
I would say instead of efficient, be effective.
That too.
I'd rather be effective than efficient.
Queen.
I want an effective
You
heart
said that
surgeon
to me.
versus an efficient one.
So to me, I get what you're saying. In mine, they're the same thing. Like if I'm efficient, I'm effective, because my efficiency is my effectiveness. You've said that to me a few times, and I've thought it through, and I thought, okay, in my brain, my efficiency makes me highly effective. But again, the way I do things doesn't necessarily work for other people, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
And don't compare yourself. I mean, if you find an app that you like, don't look, oh, here's a shiny new one. You have to trust your own self. Don't look around, because every time you look around, you think everybody's doing it better. Everybody charges more. Everybody has better clients. They live in better towns. No, everybody's
better on social media.
That's right. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. And if you do it wrong, you learned. I've done it wrong so many times. That's how I got so good.
Right, Deb? Build up that scar tissue.
Yeah.
We just said that yesterday on her podcast, or day before.
So I think what you all have said is the difference is usually not the dramatic ones, but intentionality of how we want to do or design the firm, what type of clients you need, what are the processes, practices, or technology you want to deploy, what are those non-negotiables. I think you need to have. So it was lovely talking to you all, and we come to the last section of this. I had a lot of other questions, but the time is just really flying. So we come to the last, that is a rapid fire round. Okay. And this is really rapid fire, and I'll ask this to each of you. Okay. So, so for a firm owner listening today who wants to move in this direction, so tell me one thing to start.
You calling on
Believe
us?
in yourself.
To all
So
of
set
you,
your boundaries first. Set your boundaries first. Why are you doing this? No matter what business you are building, why? What are your, write it down. Write it down. Why am I doing this? What do I want? And then start building your business. And when you forget, go back to that list, because otherwise go work for somebody 9 to 5 and be done at 5 and don't care. The more you build your business, the better it gets, the more you're going to work, the more you're going to forget. So you have to set those boundaries in the beginning. Our boundaries change as we grow, and that's okay. Changing your boundaries is okay. But at least always have some set foundation that you decided why you're doing what you're doing. And then from there, the decisions become a little bit easier. That's my input.
Every decision I've made it because something was making me mad, frustrating me, pissing me off. And I go, I don't like this. How would I change it? And I just start dreaming, boy, if I had my way, if I knew I could not fail, how would I fix this? And then I come up with some idea. I said, well, let me try it. That's how I come up with my stuff to do. First, decide what you don't like. And then you'll find out then figure out how you can fix it and get it how you do want it.
Okay,
some of you might like working 100 hours a week. Don't change. Then go keep doing it. I don't want to work that hard. I want to make a lot of money and not work that hard. So that's what I designed.
Okay, next one is one thing to stop.
I'll go stop saying yes to everything. Set those boundaries.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I 100% agree.
I just said yes to Randy. I should have said no.
No is a full sentence. No means no. Just again, but if you have your boundaries and you know what you want to do and you don't do, then before you say yes, make sure those line. Honestly. And it's scary when you're making your own money and you're not relying on a paycheck and your decisions decide whether or not you're going to pay your mortgage. And that is very, very scary. But
it's not. If you keep telling yourself it's scary, it will be.
No. But it is
because
scary,
if you work for somebody else, they can come in and fire you. You're one customer will let you go. So if you work for yourself, go find a new customer. There are plenty out there. It shouldn't
be scary, and you need to get to the point where it's not. But in the beginning, it's this little bit of anxiety.
That's why the community is so important.
And just work through that. Yes, the community's there, and you're gonna get through it. Just again, you're gonna fall 20 times.
Oh yeah,
just keep getting back up.
Get up the 21st.
Yep. Every one of us here is.
And the last one is one thing that they can rethink.
One thing they can rethink.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump in again.
There you go, Randy.
One of the biggest things to rethink, and then we can go from here, is defining what growth means to you. Growth doesn't necessarily mean money. It doesn't mean top line. It could be bottom line. Growth could mean I have more freedom. Growth could define. So it's more, I think Sharrin said this before, defining what's important to you, what you want out of this business, what you want out of your life. So define that important things. But for me, I look at it as defining growth, but that growth could be defined 1,000 different ways. So what is it for you?
Yeah, it's your life. You get to pick how you want to have it. And if you're not happy, it's no one's fault but yours.
I agree. I concur. I agree.
So I think, thank you, folks. It was really a great conversation. And I think the biggest takeaway from today is that this conversation is not really about whether everyone should work 30 hours or not, but it is more about more deeper in terms of, what is the thing that we love, how we want to design our life, right? What is the kind of a firm that we are building? So one that depends on exhaustion or one that is designed for more clarity, more sustainability and growth, right? Because better firms are not built by asking people to keep pushing harder. They are built by making better leadership choices. And I think that is the real opportunity in front of the profession. So thank you so much, Randy, Debra, and Sharrin, for such an honest and thoughtful conversation. It was wonderful to have you here. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yep.
Have a good day.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.